Here today's topic will be the select command. Along with that select command we'll see prepared statement. Okay, so already we have done few programs, right, in the last class. So what's that program you can say, like Java SK in eDrive. Okay, so Java SK will be there. In that Java SK, here we have select statement select, right? Statement select. In this thing here we have seen the select star from EMP25 is the particular table which we have, and we retrieved only the particular columns, column 1, column 2 and column 3. So if you see here, I have a table in Oracle. So I'll go for all programs, Oracle 10G Express Edition, run SQL command line. Okay, so I'll just open this properties console and 24. First connect to the database every time, so it can be done in system manager, and here after connecting you can select that select star from EMP25. Okay, so I have three particular columns: ID, name, salary. That ID index is indicated by 1 and the name index indicated by 2 and the salary is indicated by 3. Instead of this you can use the column names like ID or the name or the salary. Okay, just save this program, and if I open this command prompt in eDrive cd space java sk java c space statement select dot java java space statement select. So if I run this thing I'll get all the particular records one after the other. So you can see previously I have given the index, and index will be given according to the column order in the database if you are using star. That's the first thing. But if you are using the column names here, like suppose if I am saying ID comma salary, so what I'm trying to say, only two columns I want to display, so I'll get only two values, right? Say select ID comma salary EMP25. So I'm getting ID and salary itself. Now if I want to write the same thing here, you just have to like write rs dot get int of 1. We can take the column name or the index. Okay, get int of 1. Now after this, the salary, what is salary you can say, is a column. Here in the database it is 3. You can say that column is 3, but here in the command that ID is 1 and the salary is 2. Suppose according to the database, if you go get int of 3, if I say, I'll get exception. Like suppose here I'll compile and run. So what's it saying? Invalid column index. Why I got this error? Because here that ID is 1 and salary is 2. When you give the star, you have to look for the index in the database tables, ID, name and salary. But when you give the columns, it's mandatory that you take the index from this column itself. Like first column index will be 1, second column index will be 2, and the third column index will be 3. In that matter you can say. And if you see that ID and salary will be displayed now. Like suppose if I compile and run. So I got only ID and salary. I didn't got any particular name here, right? So that's the first thing you have to understand. Suppose select star from EMP25. I'm inserting a value. Insert into EMP25 values. What's that value? 1027, and some name I have taken, right? Suppose some Kiran I have taken, and some value 32,000. I have inserted the value just now, and I'm trying to compile now. Compile this and run. According to this, if I insert or select, you should get like 1, 2, 3, 4 records. If I run this thing here, I'm getting only 3 records, right? 1, 2 and 3. Suppose if I give the star also, like if I mention here star, and instead of having 2 you can see 3, and after this rs dot get string of 2, just to display all the values. I'm doing this. So save this thing, compile and run. I got here only 3 records, but when I select the particular table I got 4 records now. The recently inserted record is not getting displayed here inside the particular values, right? Why? Because here in this SQL, this main memory and cache memory, two types of memories will be there. So whatever the values you have inserted, it's not stored in the main memory. It's stored in the cache memory itself. So it's not getting affected to the database. Once I say commit, just if I say commit now, here if I select that same compile and run, I'm getting 4 records now instead of 3. Previously I got 3 records, and that too just I've done only commit. I didn't do anything else. Why? Because it's nothing but like a notepad file. In that notepad file, if you have written a content and you want to save it, you save it as Control S, then it will be saved, right? The same way here, if you want to save the data from like secondary, like you can say cache memory to the main memory, then you have to commit, and we have the same commit here. Okay, so then the records will get affected, that you can say. Okay, so there are 2 points you have to understand. When you do any changes inside the database, try to commit in Oracle, and here you can use those values. If you commit, all the records will be visible at a time. So next thing, this is for all particular records, but if you want to have where id equals to, like I can give a particular variable id, so for that reason again I have to use the import. So if you can say import java dot util dot scanner. Okay, so why scanner is required means I want to give the value at runtime. Runtime in the sense here scanner sc equals to new scanner system dot in. So I can say system dot out dot println I have enter id to display. Now I'll declare a variable ID. It's not important. If you want, you can declare anything. I'm just declaring it as ID sc dot next int. So it will give the value here. So here ID will be stored, and based on the ID it will retrieve the records. Like suppose compile now and run. So what's it saying? It's asking for enter ID to be displayed. If I say 1024, I'll get only particular 1024 record. If I say 1026, I'll get only 1026 record. Okay, so in this manner you can say the records are getting displayed by using where condition, and this where condition can also be applied to particular columns also. Like all the columns you can use, particular columns you can use, and particular column, particular row also you can use. Like suppose if I want only the name, so you don't need to write all this stuff directly, you just have to mention there here that only the name is required. So if I compile now, if I run this thing, so it's asking that ID 1024, I'll get the name, but it's saying again invalid column index. Why? Because I have given 2. I have to give 1 here. Okay, so make sure every time you give that particular column properly. So just clear the screen, then compile and run. So it'll ask 1024. So Mahesh, it's coming, right? 1027. So this whatever that name is there, it's coming. So according to the requirement you can write it. Okay, and after this, like this is insert, update, delete and select command. I have created the connection object. Every time it will be same. You will pass the same URL for Oracle. If it is 10G, that port number will be same, and according to the database version it will change, and you can get from the network admin tnsnames.ora file. The username password are mandatory for connecting to the database, and here we are using a factory method create statement to create a particular object of statement interface, means subclass object of statement. It will be stored in st, and here after that I can call the execute query. It's again a instance factory method which generates an object which contains all the particular values in the database. So if I save this thing, compile and run, you got the output, right? And after this statement interface we have prepare statement. The next concept is nothing but prepared statement. Like here I'll just say it as prepared statement interface. So what's the difference between statement or a prepared statement? Suppose in a statement here, if I want to send the query, I have to send the query inside this execute query itself or execute update. For instance, if I want to display the values, records, like select star from EMP. So the same command or the where particular ID, every time I have to send this command. Suppose if I want to retrieve again I have to send this command, or else you can say execute update, like execute update will be there, insert into EMP25 then the values, and these values can be like 1028 and some name like Harish and this particular salary. So if I want to send again another value, again you have to write the command. Again another value, again command. So if I want to send 5 values, I have to write 5 times. Or even inside the loop if you are writing, this command will be compiled and it will be translated and it will be transferred to the particular database. Means every time the command which is same and only values will change, only values will change here. Suppose if you want to say in this manner, the values will change every time. So here what's happening, change, the command is translated and transferred to database every time. So this process is getting repeated for every command, whereas inside this entire command is same but the values changes, right? To overcome this drawback, what's the drawback, you can say the performance is not good in statement interface. So to increase the performance, we can use a prepared statement where the query will be transferred first, then the values will be transferred later. Okay, so how it can be done and how the performance increases, that we have to see. So generally, if I write a prepared statement interface, we need the methods, right? So what are the methods of a prepared statement? Means Java P space Java dot util, or you can say SQL dot we have prepared statement. Okay, so in this prepared statement also, what's happening here, we have same methods. Execute query is there, execute update is there. So what is the execute update return type? Execute update is nothing but int itself, and execute query also, it will be result set itself. So similar to statement interface, you can say, right? So here I have a particular execute query, so I'm just writing it once, and these are present in which interface, you can say execute query along with that execute update, right? So here the return type will be int, along with that execute update is there. So what is the difference between prepared statement execute query update and statement execute query and update? If you see here, there is no parameter inside the execute query, there is no string parameter, whereas if you can see the Java P space Java dot SQL dot statement, in this interface you have parameters as string, means the command is transferred every time along with the values. When I call this execute query, the values will be transferred. Along with the values, the command is also getting translated and transferred. So for every record, for every command, you will write this particular method. So along with that method, command will be transferred. Now, in this scenario, you're not transferring the command, you're just transferring the values when you call the execute query, because there is no command here. Then how you're transferring the command? At the time of object creation. And how we create object? For statement, we used to call a method known as create statement. Con dot. This create statement used to generate the object for the statement. Now, in the same way, this Java p space Java dot SQL, like SQL dot statement, or you can say connection. Okay, so in this connection interface we have a method again. So what's that method? You can say prepared statement. Okay, so what's that prepared statement difference? Here the prepared statement parameter is a string and the create statement parameter is empty, because the command is transferred at the time of object creation only. Means pre-compiled query will be transferred. So this is known as pre-compiled query, and the return type of prepare. Here see, there is no D. Prepare statement method, which creates the object for prepared. Here D is there, the slight difference. So prepared statement. So you just have to see this entire method which is present inside a connection. So inside the connection we have a method known as prepared statement, and based on this prepared statement method we can pass the particular command. Okay, so how you can do that? By calling the method using the connection object. So I'll just copy this entire method. Instead of statement you can say prepared statement insert. Don't use the predefined names. If already prepared statement is there, don't use the same name as again file name. Okay, now till this particular connection object everything is same. Okay, so class dot for name, URL, username, password, connection con equals to driver manager dot get connection. Everything is same, right? And now if you see, I just want to create object for the prepared statement interface. Then you have to call a factory method known as prepare statement, which takes the command as a parameter. That is why it's string, and the return type will be a prepared statement subclass object, because for interface we can't create object, right? So it's simple that you just have to say prepared statement. You can say ps equals to con dot prepare statement. There is no D inside that particular prepare statement method, and you have to write the command insert into emp25 and the values. Here you won't give the values directly. I can pass the values, but I'm not passing the values here, because if I pass the values here, and for every time if you want to transfer the values you have to write a prepare statement method. So I will hold the places for the values by using the operator known as placeholders in SQL. So here in JDBC we have a particular operator known as what? Placeholders, which will hold the place in the database for the number of columns you have. To that you have to mention how many particular placeholders you required. So it depends on the number of columns, right? And after this, like ps dot con dot ps equals to con dot prepare statement, I got a prepare statement object, and this prepare statement object is used, like ps is used to send that particular values. Now if you see, there are only the command, there is no value inside this command, so I have to transfer the value. So how to transfer the value, or how to assign the value to the placeholder means, we'll have setter methods. Basically we had getter methods at the time of select, right? We used to say get xxx the index comma column, right? The same way set method, where you use the index, along with the index you will use the value. So these two things will be there, value for column. So getter methods and setter methods you can call. This getter and this is setter. And here instead of x you can say the data type name. Whatever the data type you want to have here, you can mention that. Okay. So I'll just call ps dot set string of 2 comma, or you can say first you take 1. Why I'm taking 1 here? If it is a string type you have to take string, but if it is a integer you have to mention it as int, and the index indicates the column which you are entering the value, right? So I have to send the values, right? ps dot set int of 1 comma, the index will be 1028. Okay, and after that 1028 ps dot set string of 2 comma name. Okay, like any name you can give. So I'm giving it as Mahesh, but while giving the name you have to give it as double quote now. No need of single quotes in the prepare statement, because the single quotes will be internally assumed as like these double quotes are internally assumed as single quotes in SQL. And here ps dot set int of 3 comma some particular salary like 27,000, right? Save this as prepared statement insert. Even though it is lengthy, just try to save a unique name every time. So prepared statement insert dot java. So here where we have inside the E drive java sk, then paste that particular thing, prepare statement insert dot java, right? Now how to compile now? Java c space prepare statement insert dot java, end of the file it's saying. Why? Because I haven't closed this particular thing. So now if I compile now, if I say java space prepare statement insert, it's giving no output. Why? Because I haven't displayed anything in the system.println. And if I compile or select this thing, I did not got any value also, and did not got any record also here. Why? Because you're writing the command, you're sending the values, but JDBC didn't send them, didn't translate, didn't transfer the particular command and the values. Here only the query is going. In order to transfer the values, you have to say execute update. It's mandatory. When you call the execute update, then it will return a particular integer. If that method is getting executed successfully. Then if res not equals to 0, here what you can write, system dot out dot println, yeah, so here res we can say record inserted, and you want you can insert a number of times. So here we have the prepared statement insert, right? Now Java C space prepared statement insert again. So now it's saying one record inserted, right? And if you see the same thing inside the particular database, you got this Mahesh also, right? And here already the name Mahesh is there, that's the reason it's entered beside that. Okay, so if I want to update this particular table value, like here 1028, it's Mahesh, I want to change that name, or 1024, it's Mahesh, I want to change that 1024 name now. So how to do that? We have to use the update itself. And here the same thing can be done using the scanner also. So how can you do it by scanner means just send the values here. Instead of the values you can give the variables. And if I want to send again another record, I don't have to write the insert command again. Just repeat the entire scenario here. Save this thing. Now instead of 1028, I will say it as 1029. Okay, and here instead of Mahesh, I will say it as Ravi. Okay, some salary as 21,000 and some 30. So instead of Mahesh, then you can say Shiva. The value is there, no, right? So Shiva, and salary some 10,000 you can say, right? So now if I see here, only int must be declared once, right? So I'll just have this res equals to this particular scenario. Okay, and save the particular command. Execute update means what? Sending the values. So you can see here 29, 30 are not there, and I'm trying to send two values at a time, but I'm not transferring the command twice, I'm doing it only once. So if I say compile, after compiling and running this, one record, because the latest one will be the one. Now select star from EMP means we got 209 like 1029 and 1030 also getting inserted inside the database, right? So that's the difference between statement and prepared statement. If the same thing I have to do it by prepared statement, two times I have to write the command inside the execute update, here at once and here at second time. Okay, so to avoid that we can use the prepared statement, which transfers the command first and the values will be transferred later. Okay, now any doubts in this program till now? Anyone?
No.
Right, so next thing will be how to use update for the entire scenario. I'll just copy this thing, and here instead of prepared statement insert, I'll just say it as update, and no need to write that commands again and again, right? So I'll just remove this thing. So I'll remove the entire thing. Now what do you have to update? I can say that I need to update this particular Mahesh name for the ID 1028. So I'll write it as such a way that update table name will be like emp25 and set column. Which column I want to set here? Name, right? So name equals to, in single quotes I'll give it as Rakesh, where that particular ID you have to specify. ID equals to 1028. But it is, you are sending the values directly. I don't want to send the values directly, right? I want to hold the place first of all. So the command will be transferred once and the values will be updated multiple times. So I won't send the values here. Don't send the values in update, select or delete, insert. If you're sending the values also, it will get executed, but it's not the proper way of coding. You're not using the particular prepared statement properly. So here the name and ID are set. So how to give the index now? Previously we have given 1, 2, 3 for the 3 number of columns, right? The same way here also, if it's the first thing, like name is the first thing, then name is the first column. ID is second means ID will be the second column. Okay? So for that reason, while, or you can say ps dot set string of, I have to give it in double quotes like Rakesh. Set string of or set int of 1028. Okay? Now the values will get transferred only when you call execute update. So execute update is there. Okay? And what is that execute update return type? RES you can say. And what do you understand by that? If RES not equals to 0, then here I can say system dot out dot RES what you can say record inserted. Save the particular program as prepared
Execute.
statement. Execute spelling is wrong.
there is a
Yeah.
there is a spelling mistake.
Execute update prepared statement, then right, everything is same, right? Compile and run. One record inserted, because you have written inserted, you just have to say it as updated. Okay, and you can take this at the time of runtime also, like say here if I select now, I got that particular name modified. Where is the Rakesh? Yeah, I've inserted the record, not updated, right? So Java C space prepared statement, insert and update the record, right? We didn't specify the
Yeah, one
index here.
comma.
So that index will be at here name first index. So 2 second index. Simple. So without the index also it won't understand. Prepare statement update. Execute.
Spelling.
Okay. Prepared statement update and Java space prepared statement update. So the one record updated. If you want you can see that directly. So 1028 has been changed to Rakesh now. Okay, and you can next perform the delete operation. So delete will be similar, you can try that yourself. I'll just mention it for the execute query. So it will be select. Selecting all the records, it's not an issue. Like you can directly write the command as select star from EMP. So you don't require the ps.setString or anything, right? Directly you can write while rs.next is true, but first of all you should know that ps.execute query must be called. Without that execute query, you won't get any particular result set object.
That's it.
Now by using this rs you can call next. Why? To check whether values are there or not. So system.out.println, I can say rs dot get int of 1. In the same way rs dot get string of 2, and in the same way here you just have to specify mm, before the double quotes you have to specify the plus, and then rs dot get int of 3. So I'll get all the values at a time, like prepared statement is there, prepared statement select dot java.
There is syntactical error in while loop.
What is it?
While loop, there is a missing place.
Okay, the rs dot next itself, right? So java c space prepared statement select dot java, java space prepared statement select. Table of view does not exist, it's saying. Why? Because our table is not emp, right? Here I have given emp, and actually the table is emp25. So what you have to understand, if the table doesn't exist you will get exception again. That will be table of view does not exist. So inside this if you write, you got all the records one after the other, right? But here no need to specify any placeholder because there is no condition. Whereas if I write where id equals to this particular placeholder, so whatever the id is there, that must be specified, like ps dot set int of 1 comma, because only one placeholder is there, 1 comma 1024. Save this thing, compile and run. You got 1024, my age and 42,000. Okay, and if you want you can change that particular condition. Salary, you can say salary between 10,000 to 20,000 or 20,000 to 40,000. That also you can check. Okay, so in this just you have to change the select command, it will be similar.
Suppose if we say like where salary less than this one and this one particularly, so we need to, how we need to specify the int value. Suppose where sal equal to, I mean less than or equal to some salary between, yeah, between.
Salary between, you can
Yeah, question
say,
mark and
yeah, how you specify the between thing.
does
Salary
it work?
between 10,000 comma 18,000. Do we give that same thing here? You have to try it out here first of all, like select star from EMP25, salary between like 18,000, and we use, right? And or directly we write 25,000 or 30,000. So the command should be perfect. I think the command you have to change. $18,000 okay, we haven't given this where command actually.
Where sal between. No need to give the braces. That's what I just saw in the web space. And end, no comma, end.
So here salary between this question mark and this particular question mark, right? So if you want to say, we'll try it out this like here salary between like placeholder and again placeholder. So I'll give 10 like 18,000, right? I'll pay as 18,000 and ps dot set int of 2 comma some 30,000. Okay, save this thing and compile here. Done. You got the record same as what you're getting from the database, right?
Got it.
It's up to the commands what you are using and how you're using. So in the same way, try to just have the other commands practiced in this particular scenario. Okay.